What's going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chucky, I didn't say.
Get your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are having a great night so far. It is Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Made it to the end of the week. You can probably tell from my voice, I am still slightly under the weather. I am getting better. Just sinuses are bothering me. Took some medicine last night and I just wanted to go to sleep. So sorry for no stream last night, but sleep was way more important to me last night. I think you guys understand. Anyways, I've got a great show for you guys tonight. There is a lot of drama in just about every case I'm playing, except the last one. Last one's just an update that I didn't really want to play, but got my arm twisted to play. Anyways, we are starting with Judge Simmons. She is out of Lansing, Michigan. And this is a preliminary exam that I'm not actually playing the prelim because it is tough to watch. And there are a lot of minors in the prelim and a lot of violence. So I'm not playing the prelim. I am playing all the drama before the prelim, which is where the excitement is. All right, let's get into the first one. Thank you all for being here. Before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick backflips. Let's go.
Versus Martise Anderson, file number 24-02141. Council appearance.
Morning, Your Honor. Case Mark Arian appearing on behalf of the people.
No trigger warning because I'm not actually playing the case. I'm not playing the case. I'm playing what happens before the preliminary exam starts. So no worries. No worries on the trigger warning. It's just a lot of. I mean, there's some yelling. I don't think anyone cusses though.
And thank you, Your Honor, and good morning. Jared Austin appearing on behalf of Martise Anderson. He stands present with me at council table.
How are you, Mr. Anderson? Okay. It was the date that was set for a preliminary examination. Are we ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. There's just a couple issues I'd like to address on the record, if I may.
You can do so at this time.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I've met with Mr. Anderson 3 times prior to this. I did go out and made 2 attempts yesterday to speak with him at the youth center for final preparations for a preliminary examination. I was told that he did not wish to speak with me.
MB.
I don't know what that's about, but I did want to make a record of that. And second of all, Your Honor, my understanding is there's going to be multiple witnesses today, so I would ask the court to order sequestration.
Sequestration is granted. Did you want to respond to anything he said before I respond?
Yes, Your Honor. We would just ask for the exception of Detective Martha McGonigal from the sequestration witness, as she's a necessary witness to the case. Further, Your Honor, I did just want to make a record that I understand there's a lot of family here on both sides supporting each parties. I just wanted to make a record that my intent was to play some videos, show some pictures that might be disturbing today, and I just wanted to give everyone a fair warning.
Okay, thank you for that. The exception is of course granted. Mr. Anderson. You refused to talk to your attorney, is that correct? Someone advised you to do that? You made that decision on your own? Do you care to share with the court why you refused to talk to your attorney in preparation for formulating your defense without telling me anything that could be used against you? Because of what?
Do a couple things.
Can you speak up a little louder for me?
I was gonna do a couple things he didn't do, and
Things relative to your defense?
yeah, he yelled at my mom. A lot of things, so that's why I didn't want to speak to him.
He yelled at your mom?
Yeah,
When did he yell at your mom?
last court date, I think.
And you were present when that happened?
No, I was
Oh, okay. So how do you know that he yelled at your mom if you weren't present when that happened?
I got told.
Okay. He asked you to do some things relative to, you asked him to do some things relative to your defense, and you believe he didn't do those things?
No.
And so what else do you have as to why you didn't want to meet with him? Anything else? I'm gonna put this email also on the record. I have an email that looks like it went to the Judge Simmons courtroom general email. For the record, that email does not go to me. I don't open that email, and I don't receive those emails. My staff filters those because it would be inappropriate to email a judge directly about a case. In this particular situation, there was an email, subject title, new lawyer from a Tasha Horton. Is that your mother?
Yes.
Says, good morning. How do I go about obtaining a new court-appointed lawyer? My son was represented by Jared Austin Friday in your courtroom for probable cause conference and was asked for him to ask to lower bond. He states that the judge won't do it, but will ask. He never did at the conference. So I asked why he didn't. He got loud and said he doesn't have to answer to us, and walk off, and insinuating my son was guilty. Who is he representing if he feels like that? My son is a minor and has asked him to do things that he has never did them. I feel he's not working for him, and he's not going to put my son in a bad spot. Here, Tasha Horton here. You're Tasha Horton. Can you please stand up? Did you send this email?
Yes,
Okay, you were present last week?
yes,
Okay, and so you interacted with Mr. Austin?
yes.
Okay, and what was your interaction with him?
I had talked to him on the phone the day before to see if he can lower bond and,
He can't lower bond.
I'm sorry.
You wanted him to make a motion
Yes,
to reduce the bond?
yes. And he
Okay.
said you wouldn't do it. He'll wait till later, but he'll still act. And so I asked him out in the hallway, why didn't,
Yeah, he's 17. He's 17. They just said it. You can barely see him, so I didn't worry about blurring him out because he's small and his hair is covering most of his face. I thought his hair did most of the blurring for me. So if if YouTube is listening, that's why I didn't blur it out.
he said, no, these are serious allegations. He shot somebody. I'm like, excuse me? He was like, well, I'm saying it's allegation, but,
There are allegations that he shot somebody. How was that insinuating someone's guilty?
he said that he did it, actually.
Well, what you just said is these are serious allegations. He shot somebody. That doesn't mean that he's saying he did it. It means that they're serious allegations that he did it, which is how we got here, because of the allegations.
Yeah.
They are serious.
Yes, and so going on, I said, well, I'll ask.
All right, this will be the only time I address this tonight. Judge King was not fired. He was not fired. He's coming back. I know the date he's coming back, and I'm going to go up and visit him on the day he comes back. That's it. I've been in conversation. I've been in personal conversation with him through text. Haven't talked to him on the phone, but I've texted him multiple times since the incident. And yes, he is coming back, and I know the date. So, yeah, he has not gotten fired.
He said, I don't have to answer to you or the boss. Well, if his boss was here, he has a job. And he said, I don't take orders from you or him. And he said, well, she just asked you. He's Robert.
The other person said something to him too?
Yeah.
So two people approached him in the hallway? Is this what
Yeah, we just asked him about
Like,
the
you
lower
just
bond.
politely said, hey, what about that lower bond? Nice and calm?
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Austin, did you want to respond?
Well, Your Honor, I denied I ever yelled at anyone. I didn't speak to anyone in any type of derogatory or aggressive tone.
This is not a classroom. You can put your hand down. This is not a classroom.
Now speak.
No, you may not. Continue.
Yes. My favorite thing is when a judge tells someone to put their hand down. That used to be my thing when I first started my channel. Put your hand down. Oh, I loved it. I haven't heard it in months.
Well, from my perspective, there were multiple family members that came to address me, and what I would describe as anything other than a pleasant tone. I did my best out of courtesy to answer their questions, but I did not raise my voice at anyone. I did not yell at anyone, and I do represent Mr. Anderson. That is who my ethical obligations are towards. I'm not going to discuss the facts of the case. I'm not going to discuss evidence. I'm not going to share evidence with anything or anyone other than Mr. Anderson. So that is my perspective on that interaction. I never said that the court would not lower bond, but I would ask. I felt it was more appropriate, given my experience with these types of charges in the court, to wait and see how the evidence plays out at the preliminary examination. And I told him my intent was to address bond at that time. It's still my intent to do so once this hearing is concluded. And as far as Mr. Anderson wanting me or asking me to do things that I did not do, I have not done anything or refused to do anything that Mr. Anderson has asked me to do that would be necessary for his defense or would be necessary for the preparation of his defense in this case or in preparation of the preliminary examination. I am not going to disseminate evidence or discuss evidence or facts of the case with multiple people, even if he requests me to. I'm not obligated to, and I don't think that's necessarily in his best interest to do so.
So that was what he's referencing, for you to discuss or provide information about his case with other people?
I believe so.
Okay. Is that what you were saying you wanted him to do?
It's my mother.
Okay, and he didn't do that? Okay, and sir, what's your name?
I'm Wayne. I'm his uncle.
Okay, why are you waving your hand and
Because I don't
wave
believe.
and in my courtroom while I'm trying to address issues?
Oh, well, excuse me, Your Honor, but I don't believe that she really got out what she needed to say. To you.
That's her, is she an adult?
Yeah, she's an adult.
So she can get out what she wants to say.
Right,
Were you
right.
present when this happened?
No, I wasn't present.
Well, then you can't speak to what happened.
No, I'm not speaking to what happened. If I can speak to what happened to me today, I came and I went to ask him about the situation with Martell. And he was very rude and unprofessional.
Well, you're very rude and unprofessional because I told you just now you don't get to speak on her behalf and you're gonna tell me what you're gonna do anyways in my courtroom.
No, I'm not.
Yeah,
speaking.
no,
I'm speaking
you can have a seat, sir. This is the issue.
Okay, well, you asked me a question.
Yeah, I asked you what your
I was just
name
asking.
was. I
Okay,
asked you
fine.
what your name was.
Right,
That's
all
what
you
I
want to
asked
know.
you. And then I asked you, were you present? Those are the only two questions that I have asked you.
Right.
You've given me far more than that without me asking you.
But
You don't run this courtroom, you don't run this courtroom,
That's
and
right.
you don't run this courtroom, and they don't run this courtroom. I have to keep order in here.
Right.
His job as a court-appointed attorney and as an attorney in general is to protect his client. He's not defending you. He's not defending you. He doesn't have to talk to you all. And imagine how he feels if he's trying to do his job, but he keeps getting approached by other people who I'm sure you're passionate when you speak to him because of the nature of the relationship with this young man. You're passionate in my courtroom, and it's not even your son.
My nephew.
I reckon I was gonna say it, but you keep talking over me. Talk out one more time. I can ask you to move.
No, go ahead, John.
Thank you. Thank you. And so the issue is, if he's trying to do a job and he has so many other people thinking that they can opine on what he should be doing, how comfortable does that you think it makes him feel? And it's his job and only his job, and whoever his attorney is, whether he gets a new attorney or not, because you can go hire an attorney, it's still that attorney's job solely to do the strategy of defense. You can't tell them how to do the defense. You can't tell him how to do the defense, and neither can you. He is correct. He does not have an obligation and should not be disseminating information about your case outside of here, because he's trying to protect you and your interests. He doesn't know where that information goes if he starts disseminating. And So that to me doesn't sound like a violation of his responsibility to you. I think you probably did yourself a disservice by refusing to speak to him because what you thought you heard, which was that he yelled or raised his voice at your mother. And he may have raised his voice, but I don't believe for 1 minute that you weren't passionate when you spoke to him and that you just stopped him politely. I don't believe that. And it wasn't just you, it was someone else approaching him at the same time. I would venture to believe upset that he did not make a motion for your son to have a lower bond. Is that correct?
Yeah, I just was, like I said, I asked him, I was passionate, I wasn't loud.
I recognize you can be passionate, it's your child.
Yeah, so, but, and the guy, he didn't speak until afterwards, after he said that or whatever, but yeah, it's just, I'm not telling him to tell me what's going on with the case, but I think even though I know you're trying to track, they're trying to try him as an adult, but he's still a minor. I think I should know something. He's still a child.
All right, so there you go. You just got some information. And again, I'm not playing the actual prelim of this case for a lot of reasons. It is not a case that I'd like to cover on my channel. The guy is looking at life in prison. He is 17 years old, looking at life in prison. With those kind of charges, his bond currently is $25,000. And for a potential life charge to be $25,000, that's already extremely low. And the parents are mad. Again, it's not parents. I keep saying parents. The mom and the uncle are very mad at the attorney for not addressing bond. The attorney probably said, like, listen, this is probably as low as it's going to go. Like, it's just saying. All right, let's finish this one up.
You know what I'm saying?
But you have the ability to speak with your son, though, correct?
Yeah.
He can feel free to talk to you about whatever he wants to tell you about what happens with his meetings with his attorney. The attorney does not have an obligation to talk to you. That he doesn't. Your son can talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I can't get the police report? Or anything?
You can forward a copy of the police report if that's what you want, under the Freedom of Information Act. But he doesn't have to provide you a copy of any of the discovery that he's supposed to use to formulate the defense. He doesn't have to do that. Those are not violations of his professional obligation. The things that you're saying are not telling me that he is falling below the standard. And I've never seen him not zealously advocate for his client. If you think that he wants to come in court and lose his cases, you don't understand what he's here to do. He's here to protect his rights.
Oh, yeah.
And protecting his rights may mean that he can't talk to everybody about what's going on. That protects his rights. And you may not understand that, and that's fine. There's a reason why we go to law school. There's a reason why we practice and we learn court rules, so that we understand what maybe the layman or common person may not understand about protection of somebody's rights. And so sometimes that could conflict with what you feel is natural because you're a mother and you're trying to be protective. I don't believe that you can't make a motion to get a new attorney anyways. He's the only one who could make that motion. I got your email, so I wanted to address it. And then hear out what.
All right, this is actually a great point by Muse. And we just heard Judge Boyd go on a rant about this. There's a video I played maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago where the dad was trying to control his adult daughter. She was like 22 or 23. He was trying to control her court case. He was trying to control what, evidence was put in. And finally, Judge Boyd took him aside and said, listen, if you're making yourself a party to this, you could be subpoenaed to answer questions. The attorney-client confidentiality only works between the attorney and the client. That's not you. So if you make yourself a party to everything, you can be put on the stand. And you have to answer the questions under oath. So that's exactly right, Muse.
You believe was insinuating that your son was guilty based on what you said and even what he said. It doesn't sound like that was the insinuation. It sounds like what the statement is. These are very serious allegations that he shot someone, which is how we're here. Those are the allegations. Yes. And he's innocent until proven guilty.
He didn't say that. He said he shot someone. I mean, maybe, okay.
And so you said that there's parties on both sides that's here?
Family members on both sides and support, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I be heard?
You may.
Just wanted to put on the record some.
Ma'am, you can have a seat.
Some communications I had with Mr. Austin regarding this case. Although my opinion doesn't mean much in this sense, it is my opinion he is advocating for his client. We had a slight hiccup with subpoenas going out on this case. I sent an email to the court staff yesterday. Originally, I intended to seek an adjournment today because of that hiccup. Due to some work of the Lansing Police Department, we were able to contact witnesses and get them here for court on behalf, so I withdrew that. In between that, I did speak with Mr. Austin. It's my understanding not only was he going to object to the adjournment and try to have this case proceed, he was also going to ask for a bond motion today, regardless of how.
I think he indicated we're dealing with a minor being charged with some serious charges. He was I think he was arraigned August 31st, and he's being detained at the youth center. The bond as set, I don't see, based on what I see here, by Judge Buchanan, it seems appropriate considering the charges. Mr. Austin's been before me, I don't know how many times. You've been before me, I don't know how many times. I was not.
That's a great question. I didn't say it out loud because it doesn't, for the limited amount of this video that I'm playing, it's not really necessary, but it's assault with a dangerous weapon / attempted murder. Something along those lines. I don't remember. I skimmed through the prelim because it was rough to watch. But yeah, he did some terrible things, which is why he's being tried as an adult, as a minor. Yeah, I feel like it was a little bit more than just assault with a deadly weapon. I think he might have an attempted charge. I really do.
I'm gonna amend the bond before his preliminary examination. So there's a reason why they're here to do the strategy. And he can take what you're saying or what your requests are into consideration. And you should make an effort to work with him to help formulate the defense, not create consternation or tension between people who are supposed to be here to support this minor.
That wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't. You're a passionate mother. So I know that I'm sure it was not your intention, but I can understand also, I used to be a defense attorney, a public defender. So I can understand how it would be if I'm trying to navigate a defense for my client and I'm getting stopped in the hallway by people I don't really know who are very passionate because they have demands of things that what they think should be happening. So I can understand how that could get misconstrued. I'm sure Mr. Austin's going to work better with communicating with you within the realms of his professional responsibility as to how things are moving, because you are dealing with a minor here, but he can't just start giving you evidence and other information. He can't do that, okay? Sir, did you have something else you wanted to share?
I can speak now?
I'm asking you a question, otherwise.
Yeah, I think, never mind.
Okay, you can be removed.
I remember myself.
Thank you. Any additional matters before we call witnesses?
Well, just a preliminary matter, Your Honor. I do have several exhibits I intend to admit today through the witnesses. I attempted to reach a stipulation on this. Mr. Austin would not stipulate to them, so just wanted Your Honor to know there's about 10 exhibits, a little more than 10 exhibits that we're planning to admit.
Okay.
People calling A. Williams, Your Honor.
All right, yeah. I was gonna say, I think right when they called the witness, I was backing out because they called a couple witnesses and there were minors as well. So I was like, I'm not playing this, not playing it. Anyways, yeah. Sorry for the misleading information on the thumbnail. I thought the mom got kicked out too. I remember the uncle got kicked out. I thought it was his dad. You know, I'm half listening while I'm listening to the videos I put on my live. So I thought it was his dad, but he said his uncle right at the beginning. Anyways, yeah, that was fun. We're just getting started. Anyways, Legal Fiction, thank you so much for the 10 gifted memberships. That is extremely generous of you. I appreciate it. And Trish, hold on. No, they got rid of my I hate it when this happens. StreamYard glitches and they get rid of my little star, so I can't just immediately go to the comments. Anyways, Trish, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. That's very generous of you. Thank you so much. Trish and Legal Fiction, thank you so much for the 15 new members. Welcome, 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 welcome. Members only Monday. We are only, 3 days away? I don't know what I'm going to do this Monday. Maybe I'll try to get a special guest on. That'll be fun. Yeah, let's see if we can do that. Let's see if we can do that. Anyways, thank you both. Thank you both. All right, next one. Next one we have. Oh, Judge Garcia. Dad's trying to evict his son. Let's go.
Frank and Frank. Frank Senior, Frank Junior. And I'm going to ask right now that there's no arguing and no name calling. Junior on this side, senior on this side. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Senior. What is are we getting monthly rent or we just want possession?
I just want position.
You just want possession, and I'm assuming this is your son, correct?
I'm sorry?
Is this your son?
Yes, ma'am, it
Okay.
is.
All right. And do you own the property?
Yes, I do, ma'am.
Are you the sole owner besides you and your wife?
I'm the sole owner.
You're the sole owner. Okay.
Yes,
All right. So, can I call you Junior?
yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Junior. This is your dad's house, correct?
Yes,
So, Mr. Junior, you have no interest in this house. You don't own it any way, sideways, backwards. You don't have no interest in this house. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
Okay. Tell me how you have interest in it.
This is my grandma's house that was given to my uncle Jesse, and he passed away a couple years ago.
Okay.
So my father was inherited the house just less than, I believe, 2 years. I've been promised the house, the garage. We always.
Who promised you it?
My father. We always handshake on it every year.
And I'm
It's not-
assuming that handshake is going not sideways now, correct?
Yes, but we always come to an agreement. We always, we work together, we pay the bills together, we pay the taxes together. We're always, have disputes, but we always, we just always solve them just like a normal family would. He lives right next door to me with his wife, and sometimes his alcoholism is,
Okay, we're not gonna do that.
okay,
We're not gonna do that. I just told you that.
okay. All I can say is that I have an interest in the house because I've lived there 15 to 20 years.
Okay, that doesn't give you an interest in the house,
Okay.
unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Not with through Barrett County. You don't own it, so you have no interest. Just because you've stayed in it, that means any kid that has grown up in their house can say they have interest in that house and they can take it away from their parents. That legally makes no sense. Just because you grew up there
Mhm.
doesn't mean you have a legal interest in the house. It means you may have a moral or memory of it, but it doesn't give you a legal standing of that you own the house just because you grew up in it. Okay, unfortunately, that doesn't work like that. So, Mr. Junior, your dad owns it. Okay, there's no dispute about it. You yourself said that it was given to him. Okay, right, wrong, or otherwise, it was given to him. Your dad does not want you there anymore. Okay, to the point where he's had to bring you to court to get you out. Okay, so we've got 2 options for you right now.
Yes.
Okay, I can grant the eviction and you can walk out of here with an eviction on your record, which is gonna make it harder for you to find somewhere to go. And you can appeal it, do whatever y'all want. Y'all can duke it all out in county court all day long if you want. Okay, that's between y'all, and give all your money over there. Or I can give you a certain amount of time that maybe y'all both agree on reasonably that you can move out. You go your way, you're a grown man without an eviction on your record and move along your life. Or y'all can fight it all day in court. What do y'all want to do?
It's probably just best that we go separate ways.
Okay, so how long is it gonna take you to move out?
I'm on medication for epilepsy, so.
Okay,
just-
remember, before you give me a number, if I evict you, you've got 5 days with or without epilepsy. Okay, because the court doesn't allow me to grant you more time. All right, so keep that in mind before you ask for 3, 4, 5 months, because that's not gonna happen. All
Okay.
right, You've known about this. It's not something secretive. They've given you the notice to vacate. You were served over a month ago, so it's not brand new. Okay, so it's not our fault that nobody's been looking for a place to stay. So again, how long do you need to move out?
Can we look for an agreement? Can we?
Well, I need to know a time frame to even offer him right now, because right now he's gonna say no, because you don't even you ain't telling me how long you're asking for. Because he's not asking for money. So he doesn't want any money from you.
Does he want to come to an agreement? Does he want to speak? Does he want to
Senior?
talk?
Do you want him out? What do you want?
Your Honor, it's hard for me to be here to do this, but it's come to this point where,
Okay.
okay, so he needs to just, like you said, move on and give me a date. Give me a date. I didn't want to do this, but I had enough of what's been going on, so. I've been flexible, I've been patient. So we need to both move on with our lives.
So Junior, there's your
come up
agreement.
with a-
Give him a date. He wants you out.
I have a picture on my phone of a metal pipe he swung in my face.
How quickly can you move out? That's even more reason that y'all do not need to be together.
Okay,
Okay, so the more you keep throwing me evidence, you're not helping your case, because it's just enabling me that y'all do not need to be together.
okay.
Somebody is gonna get hurt.
I don't want the eviction on my record.
So then give me a date.
Today is the 23rd. October 23rd.
2 months.
Yes, ma'am, because I have to find a place and
It's on you. You filed the eviction.
I love
You're the
you.
one driving the car.
I love my dad. I love him very
I
much.
love you too, son. But look, he owns his own house. He has it for rent. He's been using that money to make the mortgage payment. I've helped him out in the past. Maybe a little bit, October's fine with me, but that's a long time. You
So then
know,
it's not fine with you. You want 30 days?
I think 30 days would be okay.
Right.
And if he can't go move back to his home, he has other relatives he can move in with temporarily till he gets a job and moves on.
Okay, September 24th is your deadline to get out of that house. He's giving you 30 days, not 60.
I would love to get a job, but I have a disability
I'm
and
pretty sure your disability, it's maintained through medication. McDonald's is hiring, everything up and down Rigsby is hiring. Last time I checked, money is green, no matter who gives it to you. So unfortunately, it may not be what you want, but you're a grown adult. So at this point, all you need is cash. And the last time I checked, whoever gives you cash, it's green, no matter where you get it from.
I work in the backyard. I do mechanic work and that is my job.
I understand, but it is not anymore. He doesn't want you there for his protection and for yours, to the point where he's had to bring you here to court. Okay, and it is what it is. I can't change it. Okay, so you have until September the 24th to move out.
Okay.
You come back here on the 24th, and unless the world is ending and you're not out, the judgment will be granted. Unless by some reason he gives you more time. But I'm gonna tell you this right now, the court is not your babysitter. You made this decision to file this case. You brought it to my court. So don't waste my time and say, oh, I feel sorry for him. I'm gonna let you know, because we're not gonna be coming back and forth, because you have a moment of, either we're gonna dismiss it and y'all figure it out. We're gonna move forward with it, but the court is not your babysitter.
Yes, ma'am.
All right? All right. You got it until September.
The court is not your babysitter. How many people need to hear that? I feel like a lot of people that are in court need to hear that, especially in, civil matters. When it comes to actual criminal matters, then yeah, no, it's definitely not your babysitter. But yeah, not your babysitter. Good line, Judge.
September the 24th to either work it out or move out.
I have one more thing. I have some money that I'm willing to give back to him. That way he can help himself to move on. Okay, or make the house payment that he needs to do.
Everything y'all decide is in between y'all two. Remember, September the 24th, you're either gonna dismiss the case or we're gonna go forward with the judgment. So that's gonna be between y'all two.
I just want to leave this in God's hands. I love my dad very much. We go to church together sometimes, and I'm a very holy man, and he is too. So I just think that we need to work it out.
That's on y'all too, but again, the court's not gonna be your babysitter. So
Okay.
you filed it. This is what you wanted.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
So when do we get this paperwork? and get mailed out to us?
September the 24th is gonna be your reset date. My clerk is working on it right now.
Oh.
It'll be mailed to y'all. Okay, so it'll be September the 24th. I can't tell you what time because we have different sessions and she's the one that's scheduling them. So you will be getting a notice in the mail. If y'all, for whatever reason, y'all are taking each other's mail or whatever it is, you can call the court around September, the beginning of September. Actually, after tomorrow, it's gonna be in the system. So you can call over there and you'll call over here. You can get the exact time and date as
So I
well.
have to come back again one more time.
One more time.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And now if he moves out
Before then?
and nobody appears, then the case will be dismissed and he walks out without a judgment and you get your property back. If he doesn't leave, then you come on the 24th and let me know what the situation is, and then I will grant the eviction and he can deal with whatever that entails later.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
I just have a quick question. Can I get like a summary? Because this is hard to remember, everything that happened right now.
There's no summary. It's not a
Okay,
court of record, so sorry.
Okay, so September 24th is,
All you gotta remember, there's nothing to remember. Write down September 24th, move out. That's
and
it.
there's no eviction
There will
granted.
be no eviction if you move out.
Okay,
If you're still there, then yeah, there will be.
And then the money that he's,
That's between y'all two. The court is not getting involved in that. Like I have no jurisdiction to make him give you any money, or he's just doing it
can
out
I
of
give
his
it to
own.
him now?
I can do whatever you like. But go ahead and do that in the back. I have other cases I gotta take care of.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right.
All right, that was fun. Okay, so next one. Next one is it's very interesting. Now, a couple things. First off, who's a fan of horror movies or slasher films? This next guy is one of the actors in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He apparently owns property and he's a landlord. And he took one of his tenants to court a few days ago. So, yeah, but you got to pay attention to what he has on his screen for his backdrop. I mean, come on, man, you're in court. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Anyways, this one's fun. I will tell you that, you know what? I'll tell you when it happens. Let's go.
1011. Plaintiff is Alan Danziger. Defendant is Stephen Duke, Bowley, and all other occupants.
Richard Gahan for the plaintiff.
Okay.
Paul Smith here for Mr. Bowley.
Okay. I'm gonna turn up the volume because it's very low here.
About the 3. Do you see the, on the actual paper?
Okay. Did that work? Mr. Cahan, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Okay. Having volume issues. Is that any better?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Actually, it's better for me. I think it's the same for you, but as long as you don't have any problems hearing me, we'll be okay, I think.
Sorry, Mr. Cahan, can you say something?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. I just messed it up. Okay, or I just messed it up. Let's see. Turn up volume.
All right, they're fixing the judge's
Nope,
audio
not
right now.
picture.
I kept this part in here just so we can all just take in
I think that should be better.
this guy's background. It's hilarious. And he
Mr.
played
Cahan, one more
Jerry.
time. I'm sorry.
Do the old song test 1, 2, 3.
Perfect.
All right.
Sounds like the Democratic National Convention in here.
Whoa, no politics,
Didn't do
Judge.
that.
We don't talk politics on this channel.
Break it down. All right, let's start over. We're here on J3 EV 24 1012. I'm sorry, 1011. Alan Danziger versus Stephen Duke, Bowley, and all other occupants, and Mr. Cahan, you're here for the plaintiff, is that right?
That is correct.
All right, who's here for the defendant or the defendant?
Yeah, Paul Smith for the defendant. I believe he's present on the phone as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So this is what I was going to tell you about at the start. This is what I did instead of blur out the whole screen. I just put my logo over it. So it kind of helps you, because they put a lot of personal documentation up on this. And I was trying to figure out a better way because I don't like looking at the blurry screen for 10 minutes because that's about how long it would be. So I just put my logo over it. Let me know what you guys think. Is it better? I mean, you have to look at my face even longer, so maybe it's not better, but maybe better than the blur.
Mr. Cahan, go ahead.
Thank you. This is a standard non-payment of rent case. The monthly rent is $1,395. We're seeking rent back for June and forward, prorated through today, for a total of $3,780. In this matter, a 30-day notice to vacate was delivered by mail, regular mail and certified mail. The certified mail was refused, and that tracking shows refusal date of June 25th. And then this case was filed more than 30 days after that. The defendant did reach out to the office via phone after receiving the regular mail version. We're seeking possession of the property, the back rent, court costs, and $850 in attorney fees.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor. The issue I'm seeing with it is my client informs me, and if I believe he informs me that he emailed it to the court as well, but I can share my screen and show it. 4 months of rent. Mr. Danziger received 4 months of rent through Buen Samaritano for covering the months of. Let me see. Okay, it's disabled, but it covers the months of April, May, June, and July. And so the notice to vacate, I do have a copy of a notice to vacate. I didn't see it here in the court records, but it is from June 20th, and it is based on non-payment of rent. And according to the document I have, let me see, which is signed by both my client and Mr. Danziger. Gosh, where was it? I did have it. Sure. So this, can everybody see that? On or about March 13th of this year, Mr. Danziger apparently received a check in the amount of $55.80, which it's $13.95 a month, and that covered through April. Well, apparently there's an error on this because it lists May twice, but my understanding was that the client was current on rent through July of this year.
Howdy, Aaron. Howdy. I really wish I didn't have to do this. I really wish I didn't have to block this paperwork out because I find it interesting and it helps you follow along with the case. But there's so many weirdos out there, and they actually put an account number and a routing number on this paperwork. So I couldn't even let it fly with just an address. So yeah, I've got to do it. I've got to block it all out. They put way too much information on the screen.
I don't believe rent has been received for August. However, it would be necessary for Mr. Danziger's counsel to provide a new notice to vacate for that.
Okay, Mr. Cahan?
My client is on the line as well. If he's willing to step in and speak to this. Mr. Danziger, are you there?
Mr. Danziger?
I think he needs to unmute.
I just sent him a notification.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay. When I talked to the church, they said that the rent was prorated for 2 months of back rent and 2 months going forward, which would have ended May 31st. So it did not cover through July. It covered
Incorrect.
the end of May.
Incorrect.
And on top of that,
hold on.
If I can just finish, please.
Well, no. Let me talk.
Okay.
Who was it that said incorrect?
Mr. Bowley.
Okay, Mr. Bowley, don't speak until you're spoken to. Don't say anything until I ask you to say something. Don't interrupt.
Pardon me. Pardon me.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Danziger. Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. First of all, Mr. Bowley asked me if he could use his deposit to cover January. That was the first indication that he was having trouble, I guess, with his disability check, and I allowed that. Then as it started to go into he wasn't able to pay February or March, he spoke with the church. I think it was El Buen San Martino. They did come through with 4 months of rent, covering 2 months that he still owed, and it would have ended in at the end of May. So that's when I gave him 60 days notice to move out, which he didn't do, and then he filed a complaint on some issues, as I guess retribution for me having to evict him. But his rent ended on May 31st, and he's been living or squatting in my property since then, which is June, July, and now August of this year.
Okay. So is the lease?
You know how many times I got, "What are you wearing in your icon?" when I first started my channel? Yeah, it's a hoodie. It's a hoodie, and I'm just smiling. Said people thought it was like an app, whatever scarf thing that you put around your neck. There was a lot of things that I was asked what it was. Yeah, no, it's just a hoodie. It's really small, so you can't tell. Now that it's a little bigger, you can actually see.
Still in effect? Is there a lease, first of all?
I mean, the original lease was only for 6 months, and then he was going to move out, and he didn't, and it just went on and on and on.
When did the 6 months expire?
Gosh, I think it would have been March of 23.
Did you provide a copy of your lease for the court?
Yes.
Okay, can you bring that in?
This is the lease you have on file.
Okay. Is this the lease or is there a different lease? Can everyone see on the lease that's on the screen?
I believe that is the lease, and then he was just speaking to the 60-day termination notice that he had provided earlier this year. I don't believe there's any extensions that were added to that, so it just rolled over month to month.
Okay. So, and is there a written accounting of the rents as far as what's been paid, what is due?
I don't believe we have that with us today.
Okay. But tell me again, Mr. Cahan, what is your client's testimony position as to the rent, what's due?
So what is due is June, July, and August. They use the deposit for January, and then the housing assistance paid for the 4 months, February, March, April, and May.
So what's the back rent that's due through today?
$3,780.
And the defendant's position is that there's nothing due, is that it?
Well, I guess what, maybe we should ask him to testify about that. I would just point out the plain language of the document I shared earlier. I guess I could share it again. Shows that, and Mr. Danziger signed that it does include June of 24 on the itemized statement. So his testimony is that it expired at the end of May of 2024. However, if you look under the description of services on the first page, right below the routing numbers from Chase Bank, it says April 24, May 24, 524. It says 524 twice, and then it says 624. So, and then both Mr. Danziger and, well, apparently Elbwain signed on behalf of my client. And Mr. Boley, what, is it true that you wanted to testify earlier about February and March and whether, for what months this was for?
This was starting from March 20th, February and March.
Oh, I forgot about that guy. Yes. He did look like me. Man, I need to go rewatch that because that was hilarious.
I had spoken to Mr. Danziger. We had spoken about this with my broken thumb and all the rat removal and all of the citations. He's been cited by Philip Moreno, the code inspector, and living amongst the rats, amongst the no stove, no hot water, etc. He said, all right, so we'll make it March 20th that, all the work you did, I took out the garbage 2 years, etc. I did all the landscaping, no compensation, took out all of the garbage from your apartment, Mr. Danziger, no compensation, took out all your dog feces, etc. Took all the rats out of your house, Mr. Danziger, no compensation. So you said, all right, we'll give you to March 20th, too. So we said, all right. And they said, if you can get a check from El Bueno from March 20th, we'll go from there. So you got a check on March 20th for 4 months rent. You cashed it. And now you're complaining and saying you gave me eviction notices in April, in May, and June. I'm epileptic. These cause seizures. I had severe injuries from these seizures. I will no longer speak to you because you were very, very vindictive. I had Jennifer from El Bueno speak to you, and she said you will go from March 20th, 4 months ahead, and you did not abide by that. So you cashed the check, and then you went against El Bueno's making me feel welcome, and you threw me out. No, this is not just.
Okay, so your testimony is your understanding.
All right, yeah. Apparently, this landlord guy, this movie actor, keeps his houses the way he does his movie sets. It's not the same thing, man. Not the same thing. MGT, no, I was actually referring to a clip that I showed, I don't know, a month or two ago, where the defendant who was in jail, he looked like me. He did. And it was in the state of Washington, so it wasn't me, but it did look like me.
Was that the 4 months, and that you actually had an agreement with Mr. Danziger that it would start the check would start with a 4 month period starting on March 20th.
Yes. And it's written in the El Bueno document.
And as we've said, Well, that's my client's testimony on that point, Your Honor.
I would like to chime in. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Obviously, there's a error in this document from El Bueno. I would argue that clearly this is signed on March 13th. Their normal process is 2 months back, 2 months forward. So what this meant was what we're saying. But at the minimum, even if it does as they're saying, there's 2 months that are due. So whether we want to call them June and July, or we want to call them February and March, that's not here or there, in my opinion. It's still the same outcome.
In July and August through today.
My client never mentioned this process. I have no familiarity with what it is. I just say the plain language of the document states 4 months ahead.
Well, notice to vacate.
Yeah, there's a lot more dead air than I thought there was. I don't even know what they're looking at right now. No, I did it on purpose. You can't get all the information. I didn't want to keep adjusting it, and I went through the video to make sure that you couldn't get all of information. So when the address came out, you saw like a couple numbers, and that was it. So you couldn't see all the information. So I thought it was perfect. So yeah, not wide enough. Yeah, I could have made it wider, but you couldn't get it all. So I was fine with it. Yeah, I don't know. I think the judge is reading something.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you can't get any of you can see the numbers, but you can't see the street, where he's at. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
And then when was the petition filed? Did they give him the 30 days? This yeah. Okay, Mr. Cahan, what is the petitioner requesting other than back rent?
Possession of the property, court costs, and $850 in attorney fees.
Okay, the court rules in favor of the plaintiff for possession of the premises. Back rent is $3,780, and court costs, attorney's fees, $850. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court is adjourned.
Heather! See, I still do it the best. Mayor, I saw that you're home. Welcome home, Mayor. Welcome home. And yes, Heather. All right, we're moving on to the last clip of the evening. This is just a follow-up clip. Again, I didn't want to play this because it's not that exciting, but I've covered her first, 4 or 5 appearances when she had a lot of attitude and entitlement. So I just have this need to keep everyone up to date on this case. But this is the Swiftie. She is home. She is out of jail. And yeah, spoiler alert, I don't think she says more than like 5 words this entire thing. But because I've covered every single case she's had or every hearing she's had so far, gonna play it. But this is the last one. So let's go. Hey, Cheryl, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate it. Very generous of you. And welcome to the 5 new members. Thank you so much, Cheryl. That's very generous of you.
All right, calling case numbers 2401-248, 2401-451, People versus Megan Ellis.
Attorney Joey Phillips, P8408-1 on behalf of Miss Ellis.
And good morning, Your Honor. George Brown on behalf of Ms. Ellis on the other case.
Miss Ellis, state your name, please.
Ellis.
Today's date and time set for a pretrial. Mr. Brown, Mr. Phillips, it's my understanding there's a request for further plea negotiations, discovery, and a 4-week adjournment is what all parties have agreed to. Mr. Markham was here. He has to cover another docket as well. He's indicated that he's in agreement with that. Is that what you're seeking, Mr. Brown?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So I will note for the record that the court put some pretty intensive bond conditions in place to allow Miss Ellis back into the community. I'm happy to see at this point, although it's only been a couple weeks, but during those 2 weeks, there's been some positive progress that has occurred, and Miss Ellis appears to be following the court's requirements, which I think is good for her and good for the community. Mr. Brown, it's my understanding that you have some additional requests of this court related to bond. I will tell you right now.
No, she's wearing like a, I don't know what color that is, like a beige like shirt, sweater, something underneath whatever she's wearing. So no, it's not wide open. When I was watching this live, I did think that for a second, like, what is she doing? Like, oh no, it's just with her skin tone, it's really hard to see. But no, she does have a shirt on. Calm down, no, and no. Stop pausing and zooming.
I'm hesitant to make any changes because of what we're doing is working, but I'm always willing to hear any requests. Reasonable requests will be considered. I know that the prosecutor has already made it clear that he's leaving any of your requests to the court's discretion. So, Mr. Brown, Mr. Phillips, what are you looking for?
Thank you, Your Honor. We're asking that the defendant be allowed to travel outside of her curfew. Her curfew by court order currently is 8:00 p.m. to 8:00 a.m. We're asking that she be allowed to go on a camping trip at Higgins Lake from tomorrow to the 24th. That she be allowed to go to another camping trip at Silver Lake Sand Dunes. That she would be at the Dunetown Resort on August 30th to September 2nd. We're also requesting that she have permission to go to a Glass Animals concert at DTE Pine Knob on August 24th, and I've concert at the Fillmore on September 15th.
Yeah, sure. I would second that request. As it relates to the family camping trip, it's my understanding it's just with her aunt and uncle, I believe. Is that right, Megan?
Yes.
And there would be no worry about the complaining witness potentially being there.
Yes, Your Honor. The defendant has not had any contact with her, and she's not planning on being there. And Judge, I guess I'd also want to note for the record that these tickets were purchased for the concerts. They were purchased before the defendant was on bond. And I believe that the court has the power to put some protocols into effect to make sure that the defendant is continuing to follow the conditions of a bond. If the court would ask for, say, a drug and alcohol test after each of the concerts, she would willingly comply.
So, Ms. Ellis, the 23rd, 24th, you're going to be going to Higgins Lake with your aunt and uncle. Is that correct?
That's correct. It's one night, back in town the 24th for the concert, back home after the concert, all in the state of Michigan. And then for the Silver Lake, it'd just be me and my partner and our pets.
The 30th through the 2nd?
Yes, Labor Day.
Do you guys see an issue with this question? Bought before this. No, when she was first arrested a month ago, she was supposed to spend all summer in Europe, traveling in Europe, following Taylor Swift. Just saying. I mean, maybe that was only supposed to be for 2 or 3 weeks, but I wouldn't say I'm going to be in Europe all summer following the Taylor Swift tour if it was only going to be for 2 or 3 weeks. Anyways, I'm not going to call her a liar. Maybe she was due back this week, and yeah. Anyways, can we let this video? I'll stop it. I'm gonna have to stop it one more time, but let's finish it up.
Okay, so she's already on a level of drug testing, but if I allow her to go to these locations, she will have to test the next day whether or not she's ordered to, whether it's not, it's part of her random. So basically, I'll incorporate for the Higgins Lake and concert trip, she has to test a drug and alcohol test. I don't anticipate with Miss Ellis that there'll be alcohol, but I don't actually anticipate there'll be either based on what I see as some good compliance right now. But based on our past discussions, of all the things I would be surprised to see would be alcohol, but she'll do a drug and alcohol test on the 25th of August. She'll do one on the 3rd of September. Now, Ms. Ellis, if you are, just so you know, if you are called those days anyway, then you don't have to do 2 tests that day. They'll all count together, okay?
Okay.
But for example, you come back on the 25th and you're not called, you already have been told by me, you test on the 25th. If I'm letting you go to that concert and to Higgins Lake. Now on the, she'll have to test on the 3rd when she comes back. She'll have to test on the 16th after the concert. So Mr. Brown, Mr. Phillips, if you could just help Miss Ellis facilitate that. And then remember, Miss Ellis, all the other things stay in place. We're not, I want you to keep doing your daily journal. I want you to keep working with Dr. Abramsky. I want you to keep evaluating medication. I think the journal is helpful as well as when you do sit down and have a discussion, if that happens with some sort of, medication appointment, things like that, having your daily journal so that you can then say, hey, this is how I feel. These are some of the side effects. So the daily journal also works for me, but also works for you so that you can be a more accurate historian when you sit down with your doctor.
Sure.
And as you know, Miss Ellis, what works for right now might not work in 6 months. And so you just have to make those constant adjustments. Those journals really do help the doctors make the right call, which in the end benefits you. This is the most calm that I've seen you, and you are following my rules, which is, I will say, Ms. Ellis, your attorneys fought for you on this one to at least give you the opportunity to participate in these activities, which are important to you. I have great reservations, but they've convinced me that you have, since you followed my rules for the last couple of weeks, you'll continue to follow my rules, and that this will actually be beneficial to your mental health to be able to experience these things. And so for now, I'm okay with these adjustments. When you're not at these events, the curfew remains, the social media, obviously the social media bar continues. I hope that it's helping you focus on things that are more about you.
I mean, good for her, right? She's doing everything she's supposed to. She's doing all these things. She's not drinking. She's staying sober. There's no evidence of her being on anything. There was just a lot of speculation about it. Her staying off social media, though, that's a hard one. She may come out of this a better person. We don't know. But just seeing her today versus how we saw her the first time, big difference. She did make a couple facial expressions, which she needs to stop doing. But at least she's not talking back. She's wizened up. She understands what the court can do. She spent 2 weeks in jail. I think it was about 2 weeks. Yeah, that'll change anybody. All right. That's all I got, everybody. You guys are awesome. Thank you for hanging out. I just looked to see who could possibly raid. I don't see anybody that's live right now. Hold on. I will refresh it right now. Oh no. Did I just crash my internet trying to do this? All right, let's see. What do we got? Yeah, okay, so Mark the sarcastic law student. Yeah, we can go there. KCC in 5? I can't talk for 5 minutes. Why does KCC always have to wait for like right when I end it? And then, yeah. Do you guys want to waste 5 minutes, or do you just want to raid Mark the sarcastic law student? Which one would you rather do? Hey, Jasmine. Because this is over. It's about 10 seconds left after I hit play and it's over. So we can waste 5 minutes and hope KCC's on time. Turtles, I don't think I have a turtle bonus. Hold on. I don't have a turtle bonus tonight. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy was my turtle bonus tonight. Because that was going to be a video tomorrow, and I just threw him in this instead. Legal Fiction, 5-minute pause. Thank you for the super chat, Legal Fiction. I appreciate it, bud. KCC, you guys are all saying KCC, so all right. We'll just, I guess, wait around for KCC. I don't have anything to play though. I really don't. I'm looking. I mean, I can play my little like shorts that I have that I pull up every so often to be funny.
Have you guys seen that certain YouTubers have a way of doing things in a way they always sound the same? For example, if you watch Colin, hey, how you doing? It's Colin. What's the other one? You know what I'm talking about? Who's the other one? God, there's another one. Oh, you ever watch Law Talk with Mike? Hey, it's Mike coming from you from Chicago, like always.
Yeah, we got that. We got my this is the one I played the other night when we were waiting for KCC. This one always cracks me up. And it shouldn't crack me up, but it always does.
Well, $2,500 bail on the 2016, I believe, pending DUI, and $2,500 bail on the 2009 DUI. And the reason for that, Your Honor, is to yet again give the defendant an incentive to return back to court. The reason the state isn't asking for a no bail warrant on the 2009 DUI is because the defendant, at least in the state of Washington, hasn't picked up any new criminal charges since the 2016 DUI.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Alt, anything further from you?
No.
All right. All right, Mr. McDaniel, almost looks like a fish. You want to call out the Nisqually and have them take control of their camera? All right.
Almost looks like a fish. Yeah, I don't know why I find that hilarious. It is sad, it's creepy, but I find it hilarious. I do. All right, what else do I have? What else little... Oh, then the one I always play. You guys know this one.
Answer, sir, please. You, every
Who'd you
time you
say?
open your pie hole, you get it worse trouble. So stay the course, will you?
Stay the course, will ya? All right. Did we make it 5 minutes? Is she live yet? Casey's, of course. I know that was what I was trying to tell you guys. If I'm gonna spend 5 minutes just doing random things, and she's gonna be late. Oh man. All right. Well, we can rate her anyways, because I'm recovering from being sick, so I am done. I am so done with being live. So I'm gonna end it, and we're gonna raid KCC. I just changed it, so we're going to KCC, and yeah, we'll hang out in her pre-lobby until she starts. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for the get well wishes. For everyone that's asking about Judge King, he has not gotten fired. He is still a judge, and he will be back. And yeah, I'm gonna be up there. I'm gonna go up there the day he gets back. I'm gonna hopefully surprise him. Hopefully it doesn't get to him. I haven't told him. I just want to, be there when he walks back into his courtroom, because I feel like that's gonna be cool. So I'm gonna make sure I'm up there. It was supposed to be next week. It got pushed back a couple days, so it looks like it's gonna be. I think I don't. One of the first couple days in September is what it's looking like. At least that's what he told me. All right. You guys have a great night. Thank you for hanging out with me. We're going to go raid KCC. Thank you for the gifted memberships. You guys are awesome. I have lost the ability to check who gifted memberships because my StreamYard is glitching. They took away my tab that I can go and see who gifted things. So I know Legal Fiction did. And I know 2 other people did, and I'm really sorry. I can't remember who did. I can't just, yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. But I know I called you out earlier. I'm just trying to say thank you. So everyone have a great night, and I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon, because tomorrow night's my night off. So I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon. All right. Tell KCC I said hello. Until next time, bye. Nope. Playing the wrong clip. I got to go back to my original video.
As opposed to others.
All right, now we're out.
A good thing.
Tell KCC I said hello.
So, I'll see
Until
you
next time,
back
bye.
here in about 4 weeks. And you can go to those concerts, just test the next day. You can go to Higgins and Silver Lake, just test the next day. I think that's it for now. Mr. Brown, Mr. Phillips. Anything else?
Actually, Your Honor, could we go off the record briefly?